Yeah, let's get right into it. Let's talk about the mermaid thing. Okay, we got mermaid things happening. I don't know why we need mermaid things happening, but every time. Here's the take up front on the mermaid thing. Okay, there's Little Mermaid. If you don't know, they're doing a live action Little Mermaid movie for Disney. If you didn't know, it's because you don't give a fuck about it. If you did know, it's because you are on the internet and racists are mad about it. Can you tell why, chat? I wonder why. So she's black, and she's a mermaid, and I guess you don't get to be both at the same time. I don't understand why. And for two reasons. Number one, the obvious reason, because I'm a big wokey, is I don't see color, chat. That's actually not true. I think we all see color, but I think I don't make like value judgments on how you can be a mermaid based on it. Like clearly she's black, but who gives a fuck? I don't care at all. No one gives a shit. Because like it shouldn't matter. Like if this is the artistic direction that the mermaid movie wants to go in, then I'm down with that. If like it's a mermaid movie. The only time I see this becoming a problem is when you're making like a bio flick on somebody, but guess what they do with white people all the time? Don't they do some white people taking those roles from so you're going to see a little correction shit happening, but this isn't a real person if you realize. So they're making another movie. And by the way, if the crab can like and weren't these Caribbean like fucking mermaids? Like he does Jamaican music in the movie. The crab can be Jamaican, which is probably so. The crab is probably a black guy, right? But he can do the, and if it's not, it's worse because now he's singing like he's pretending to be a Rasta guy because the crab like what's the Sebastian mermaid? Wasn't he doing like Jamaican music and shit in the movie? Do I recall this correctly? So anyway, that's just weird. I'm just tossing that out there. So we can't have a black mermaid, but we can have like a suggestively black crab. Cool, that's fine. They get to be Bob Marley, I guess, or whatever the fuck is going on. Under the Sea. This is a great song, by the way. This is a good movie. I actually like The Little Mermaid. But you know what? Here's the second part to this. You know what fucking sucks about the Disney remakes? You know what really sucks about the Disney remakes? Their quality. They all are dog shit. They're all dog shit. Did you see the Aladdin one? If you like that shit, or the Mulan one, they fucking suck. So I mean, even beyond that, even if you're like, man, I'm so racist. I'm just so racist. I get black mermaids. Like if you're just so racist you can't deal with black mermaids, I guess. Sure. Like be racist about the black mermaid, but do not pretend that you give a shit about another Disney cynical live action remake money grab movie. I don't give a fuck about the corporation's mermaid thing. Anyway, he cares a lot. Let's see why he cares so much. Let's see why he gives so deeply. Isn't there a Roald Dahl thing too? Does he give a shit that in the original she didn't suffer deeply the entire movie? No, he doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit. No, it's fine. It's fine. The source material he cares about a lot, not the source material chat. Wait.
August, it was announced that the actor James Franco had been cast to play Fidel Castro in an upcoming film. As Axios reported at the time, the casting decision sparked anger. Many on the left accused Franco of participating in whitewashing. The Washington Post ran an article claiming that the incident highlights the alleged ongoing problem of Latino exclusion in Hollywood. Fellow actor John Leguizamo blasted the casting as appropriation, called for a boycott. Many others agreed that Franco should not be allowed to appropriate a brutal dictator from Latinos. He may be a mass-murdering psychopath, but he's their mass-murdering psychopath, damn it.
This is a thing that Matt Walsh and every other like what the Daily Wire folks do, and Republicans in general, is they don't have the confidence to steelman the position, so they have to make up a guy to argue against because they have thin little peepees, and if their thin little peepees genuinely cannot deal with other people disagreeing with them. That's why they have to ambush people in interviews. It's why they have to be slime balls, is because their messaging can't come across properly if they have any of the reasonable arguments you have against their position. They can't broadcast those because they make them look stupid because they're wrong. So they have to do this part. Fidel Castro is mass murdering psychopath. I've never actually heard that. He was a revolutionary, and Cuba has a long tradition of communism for many years, to varying levels of success. But it's a culturally important topic to Cuban people, and I think it makes a lot of sense, or for just Latin people to want some form of voice in the matter when it comes to the topic of this very important figure in Cuban and Latin history. You know what I'm saying? I think sure, that makes a lot of sense. Why wouldn't you? I think if they were casting just imagine a black guy playing Alexander Hamilton, or a Latin guy playing Alexander Hamilton, or a wait, it was fine. Let's let the people who are parts of these groups just decide what they want to do, man. I have no idea why Matt Walsh would be invested in this. Orange Penguin, thanks for the 18 months. Also, she has to do some Christian stuff to go to wait, what? What are you talking about?
It didn't matter that Franco...
Speaking of a story, don't know if this is true, but didn't bother fact-checking it, about Fidel Castro that lives rent-free in my head is the story about a woman sent to assassinate him but ended up boning him instead. Is that true? Is that true? Yeah, we'll do the corn prayer in a second. We accidentally skipped into this.
Actually looks a lot like...
I promise we'll do it all.
Like Fidel Castro.
We have
it
a
also
robust
didn't matter
stream.
that Franco and Castro are not that far apart ethnically. Castro...
Because we're not going to watch this whole video. He's not that interesting. I'm telling you. We do not need to do 11 minutes and 33 seconds on this. It's not that interesting.
His father was from Spain, while Franco's grandfather is from Portugal. It also, of course, didn't matter that the job of an actor is to act. That is, to pretend to be something that you are not. None of that matters in such cases. All that matters is that Franco is white, and white people must stay in their acting lane.
I mean, this is like a deep conversation that starts at foundational racism due to the way that our country was structured, right? And just the way that it continues to be structured in certain parts of America by certain people, Matt. And so the conversation is that there's systemic racism, and it's been negatively affecting people of color for a long time in this country specifically, but also all around the world, but definitely this country. And due to colonization and chattel slavery and a myriad of different racist laws and actions by the American government and the people that live there, there's a deep mistrust with white folks when it comes to handling any issues of race with any tact or awareness whatsoever. This is another blind spot for some white guys for some reason. I don't know what the problem is. Like, it's not just that they're the best actor for it. There's also something about casting, right? Like, oh, they're cast for the position to be good at the job. Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand why it has to be... The biopic thing is what makes sense. It's always about this, right? Because, and then, so it's like a white person playing a famous person of color, and now you have a white face attached to it. Jesus is a great example of this. The first time they whitewashed a character from a famous story. That might not be true if it's the first time, but it's definitely the most famous case of it. You still think of Jesus as white, most likely. Like, this has just been happening. And then the problem becomes like, well, what if you even bitch when it's not just a famous person? What about, insert any other actor doing it? It's because there's a systemic action of white people taking those positions away from people of color, and then while they do it, often doing so in a very offensive way. Blackface, yellow face, what they call it, red face, which I think in itself, all of these are racist, calling people yellow and red and stuff, but that's what it's called. And like, they've been doing it forever, and it's always been to the, I don't know, detriment of the groups that these white people have been portraying. So yeah, I don't know why he doesn't understand this. I mean, he's paid not to understand, so I just don't know why an adult human male such as himself would be such a fucking pussy about this kind of thing.
Now, by the way, John Leguizamo was born in Colombia, but his first prominent role in Hollywood was portraying the Nintendo character Luigi, who is an Italian plumber, according to the Nintendo canon. That doesn't matter either, though, as we'll cover in a moment.
Was that John Leguizamo's first major movie role? That doesn't sound right. I could be right. John Leguizamo. Let's look it up. IMDb. Is it really the Mario? I remember watching that movie a lot when I was a youngin'. His first acting credit. Way back in the day. Way back in the day. No. Wait, what the fuck? I guess I thought he'd be close. No, 1993. His first major one? I feel like some of these are okay movies, right? Maybe he didn't have a good like role. Die Hard 2? Casualties of War? Maybe he didn't have one. He was in Miami Vice apparently a lot. Maybe it was his first. Maybe this was his breakout role with Super Mario Bros. Don't know my John Leguizamo hero history. Case, thanks for the follow. But I don't care. Like, again, this is a situation where wasn't he in Tu Wong Fu? I think that was later.
Now, over the years, there have been many outrages and controversies stemming from instances of alleged whitewashing.
I don't think it's not alleged. It is, but it's like I don't think it's. Is outrage too strong of a word? I don't think people are outraged.
It has the juice.
Maybe fake people can be played by anyone. They're fucking fake. That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's why I don't care about the mermaid thing. Like, I would get if they were doing a Hillary Clinton, but she's black thing. But I think, like, oh, Hillary Clinton, but it's Viola Davis, right? And they changed nothing but making it Viola Davis. That would be fucking weird, right? But if it was like, I don't know, what if the Clintons were black and then let's write it like that? That's interesting to me. I have no problem with it. I also have like what that'd be fascinating. I don't know. It's just different, man. There might be a little bit of like, well, why is it different if white people do it? Because we're fucking racists. I mean, we're not racist, but systemically, the racism comes from the white folks. That's why. And then every depiction is fucking. I don't even want to show the examples. I was going to bring up Mickey Rooney in a Breakfast at Tiffany's, which is a classic example of one of the worst cases of yellowface I've ever seen in my whole life. But it exists. White people have just been thinking they could do this shit forever. And then he's going to be like, the white chicks. Yeah. Fair play, bro. We get to, like, it gets to happen if you've been doing it the other way forever. No one's saying it's, like, great. They're just saying, like, yeah, of course you get to do it. No, only white folks get to do it. Now you get to be mad at the other way. It's like, shut the fuck. You racist, bro.
The anger is no less palpable when the role in question is a fictional character. In 2017, a British actor was forced to drop out of a Hellboy film because the character he was supposed to play was Japanese in the original comic. A few years before that, Emma Stone's casting as an Asian woman in a romantic comedy provoked so much wrath from the left that the director of the film had to issue a written apology for the film he directed.
Wrath.
And Stone herself has since apologized for her participation in the project. That same year, Rooney Mara had to grovel and beg for forgiveness after starring as Tiger Lily in a Peter Pan adaptation. The left declared that the fictional character is supposed to be Native American. Rooney Mara is not. And she agreed, and now she says that she's...
Why are they saying the left? Do you guys remember any of this shit? You guys remember any of this shit? Hell no. No one fucking looked at this. I was so outraged. Nobody knows. There was probably some people that talked about it. But, like, the left? Bro, again, white people have been taking roles in those spaces for years. For years. Century. Longer. It used to be just fucking men doing it. And it's literally just about the equity of the whole situation, and there's a disparity in the equity, and so people are bringing it up, and yeah, it goes both ways. And, like, eventually, eventually you're gonna get to a point where it's like, okay, well, you can't play. You can't. We can't be doing a thing where we've corrected the situation, but now only one side gets it, and that's not what's gonna happen. Like, people like me are gonna be running the world, right? Not me specifically. Although you could vote for me in an election I haven't run for, which would be dope if I won. I will accept the position, but if I'm eligible for it, sure, I'll be emperor, no problem, guys. As long as I can do exactly the same thing I always do. The Ghost in the Shell movie. Yeah, that's like the only one I can think of. But like, that's a main character in a story that was like, I mean, it's Ghost in a Shell. It's not Scarlett Johansson, okay? The Black Elf thing is happening later.
Haunted by guilt because of portraying that character in the film. The outrage extends into the cartoon realm as well, where last year Hank Azaria famously apologized.
The Apu thing, bro? Yes.
And announced that he was stepping away from his role as Apu in The Simpsons.
Come
on the basis that he shouldn't be voicing a character of Indian descent.
It's not just that he shouldn't be voicing a character of Indian descent, it's the voice he was doing. Like, come on.
In fact, the show's producers
it's the accent, bro.
Have since said that no white voice actors will be used for any characters from other ethnic backgrounds from now on.
Probably smart if their job is to sound like them. Like, what do you mean? Do people watch The Simpsons? Is that a thing? What about Bob had the same question? Like, Apu was an ethnic stereotype. Yeah. It was a fucking gas station or some shit, right? It's an ethnic stereotype that there was a blind spot for, or they just didn't care when they started it, right? Like, they didn't. They thought it was funny. They didn't think it was offensive. It became offensive because people are like, "Hey, this is a fucking stereotype, bro. It doesn't make me feel good." And then they were like, as adults, okay, yeah, that's our bad, because they're adults, Matthew, when you upset other people, and it's a thing you don't need to be doing, it's fine to be like, you know what? Okay. It upsets you. I get it. That makes sense. Like, what the fuck is wrong with Republicans, bro? They're such baby dicks. I'm never going to apologize for anything. You'll see them tweet shit like that, too. Never apologize for an opinion you've had. Ever? Never apologize? That is not what I got taught growing up. And I had a Republican dad, and he would fucking agree with them if he wasn't dead as shit.
The determination to root out all cases of whitewashing, quote unquote, or suspected whitewashing or potential whitewashing is so absolute that the live-action remake of Aladdin in 2019 came under fire because the brown actress who played Jasmine was not brown enough. Now, she wasn't white.
I do not recall this at all, because that movie sucked, and I don't remember anyone talking about it.
But she appeared to be kind of white adjacent.
No, that sounds made up, bro. That sounds like fucking colorism by some dum-dums, not the left. Jasmine remake. Let's just do Jasmine remake, because it'll show me who she is. Who is it? Is this Jasmine? Is this who Jasmine is? Looks fine. I guess what it is that Jasmine looks Middle Eastern, like distinctly Middle Eastern, very classically so. And I don't know what this person's, but having in the past dated an Arab woman who very much appreciated this movie for its depictions. I guess, but I mean, like, I don't think it's a brown thing. I don't think it was her skin tone. This doesn't feel like a skin tone thing. I don't know where she's from. Does anyone know? People are saying. I think it's just because if anybody brought it up, it's because of Jasmine, like her original, but it's a casting thing. What's the Aladdin guy look like? Okay, this is a much more manly version of Aladdin. And everybody hated Will Smith. But again, it wasn't because Will Smith's black. It's because Will Smith. You know? Here we go. Yeah, man. I don't know. I feel like this is fine casting. Anyway, this movie fucking sucked. Don't watch it.
And that was very disturbing.
Fucking sucked.
A Screen Rant article at the time said that Aladdin's whitewashing had...
He didn't have the ball sack pants. That's true. He didn't. No pickles. Did I miss your biddies? Yeah, I did. I'm sure we can dig up an article about it that was shared once or twice on Tumblr, which is of course horrible. I don't even have a Tumblr. I heard it was getting better though.
Damaged its box office potential. The writer apparently convinced that the average...
There was argument about colorism and light skin POC still being more acceptable than darker tones, but I wouldn't... Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds about right. They do that, by the way. They absolutely do that.
Moviegoer shares her race-obsessed neurosis. Now, it may then come as a surprise.
I don't know what the race-obsessed shit is.
To the most naive among us, anyway. That the very same media, which complains bitterly about whites in traditionally non-white roles, and the very same leftists who treat the whitening of non-white characters as literal genocide.
Nobody treats it like that. What are you talking about, Matt? No, we treat genocide like genocide. Like, again, he's just straw man for straw man. He absolutely cannot just have a conversation with a left-leaning person. He's too much of a fucking coward. Matt Walsh is a tremendous coward. You will never see him in a situation where he is vulnerable to an actual leftist point of view in an open discussion. You'll never see it happen.
And all the people who've taken this issue so seriously as to cause many white Hollywood actors to drop out of films and fall to their knees in apology. Would all this week be so excited about the release of the first trailer for Disney's upcoming Little Mermaid live-action copy and paste job? Now, everything is mostly the same in the remake, as always. It's like shot for shot, exactly the same, except that the Little Mermaid herself, a pale redhead in the cartoon version, has been recast as a black woman, though still with red hair somehow.
Somehow. Okay.
This is part of a growing trend. As the anger about whitewashing increases, so in equal proportion does the demand for what we must in the reverse call...
She's half fish, chat. No, don't. No.
Blackwashing. A viral post on Twitter declares rapturously, a black Cinderella, a black Belle on Broadway, a black Cinderella on Broadway, and now a black Ariel.
Yep.
The black girls are truly winning. Much to the left's approval, the black girls are winning, quote unquote, in historical retellings too. Last year, a black woman was cast as Anne Boleyn, the 16th century Queen of England, in an upcoming miniseries. Netflix currently features a show starring a black woman as a Viking warrior.
I've never seen Cold Skin. I don't know what it is. I guess I just don't give a shit. Again, it totally depends on the depiction. There was already a live-action Little Mermaid musical broadcast TV, and it features half-indigenous, non-white actor. What? Little Mermaid live? Official announcement trailer? Queen Latifah! It's gonna be Ursula? Cool. Shaggy! Whoa, Sebastian, that's an odd choice. Why would they choose that? John Stamos as the guy? No, Chef Louis? Oh, okay, that makes sense.
The Little Mermaid live, Tuesday, November 5th on ABC.
That's it, huh? Cool. Yeah. But yeah, she's not played by a white person. Oh, no! I care deeply.
Many other examples come to mind, too many to count. They even fired Jake from State Farm and replaced him with a black version.
Wait, they didn't fire Jake from State Farm. It was a different Jake from State Farm, if you remember the canon, by the way, as a guy who has been... Do you know how many people have mentioned that fucking commercial to me, guys? It happens a lot. Oh, here's Jake. Oh, Jake from State Farm? That's right. As a Jake, I would know the canon. There was two of them. The original was a more representative Jake, to my experience, a chubby white guy. And then they became a fit black fella, and they were both named Jake. And then eventually he just got the commercials because, I'm going to be honest, he's just a better looking, slightly better character actor than the other guy. The other guy was funny in the original. But did you know that multiple people were named Jake in the canon of that? I mean, I'm just saying. He didn't fire him.
And then there are the examples yet to be. For instance, there's still a major push to find somebody other than a white man to fill James Bond's shoes in the next installment. Now, in all of these cases...
Wait, James Bond is a code name. Please. Can we not?
2 things are guaranteed.
God.
Or actually more than 2. A few things. When a black actor plays a traditionally white role...
Jake from State Farm, a traditionally white role. Good Lord. Did you know a lot of things are traditionally white roles? Matt, do you know why? He would say cultural domination in a good way.
Portraying either a fictional character or a historical figure.
There's literally a video of the new Jake doing the character at a party.
Media, the left, and Hollywood itself will celebrate the move as pioneering and courageous and important, along with all the other requisite superlatives.
I don't think... Okay, as a leftist, do we think that's any of those words? I don't remember at all being like, yes, finally! Like, what the fuck? I genuinely don't think about it. I can't stress to you enough how much I don't think about it. I don't think about it. We can't not. Jake is going to be like this. Every time a piece of media comes out with a non-white, non-straight actor until the end of time, it's not going to be until the end of time. It isn't. It isn't going to be until the end of the time. It's going to be until it is so normalized that it's not even news, which is going to happen. They're going... Like, this isn't going to happen in 10 years. 10 more years of this? It doesn't... People will get bored of it. They'll be like, fine, I don't care. It's happened a million times. No one gives a shit. Growing up, Jake from State Farm showed me that I, as a white cis man, can grow up to be a worker drone too. Don't remove a white hero. That shows we poor people, the majority, can also be wage slaves. True. I mean, it wasn't happening 10 years ago. We were already doing this stuff. This is already happening. It's whatever.
The other guarantee is that any criticism of the casting decision, even and especially criticism that simply adopts the same logic as the left applies to so-called whitewashing.
It's the same logic in a vacuum, irrespective of the context of the logic, Matt, because that's the only way you can come up with a coherent argument, because it has to be against a straw man version instead of a steel man version, because you're a weak bitch. He grows the beard to hide his weak bitch face. 100% true. Weak bitch. It's not my fault, bro. You should just be less of a bitch. Let's be real. Like fucking if I was a man, I would simply not give a shit about the casting of the Little Mermaid remake. If I was a man. Say something nice about Matt. What is good about Matt Walsh is that I'm sure his children will fucking despise him when he grows up.
Will be slammed as racist.
I hope one of them
The Daily Beast today has an article documenting what it calls the racist backlash to the Black Little Mermaid, declaring this backlash to be out of control. The racism is out of control, they say. Then you click on the article, and in the article they provide a few tweets from random accounts complaining that the underwater scenes don't look realistic. So the Daily Beast article about racist backlash contains no racist backlash, or even backlash that vaguely mentions race.
Backlash? No, what? Wait. So now he's making a video about how Why is he pretending? Why is he now pretending that racists don't care about black mermaids when that's been like all the content that's been coming out of them? Like literally all of it. Instead, they're saying it's a black mermaid, and we don't care though. It's you guys that care. You care. You're so worried about it. You're making up a guy. We don't care. No, I'm good. I'm good. That's the end of Matt Walsh. Count me out. He goes on for the rest of the fucking video. You've seen it on Twitter probably. To do the but she's deep in the sea. She's deep in the sea, chat. How could she have the melanin required? The sunlight literally on her face right now. Doesn't matter. Matt Walsh can be mad on Under the Sea. That's a great song. I really like the movie, the OG movie. But only in like snippets. I don't think I'll sit there and watch the whole movie again. Hercules, though. Is Hercules my favorite? Is Hercules my favorite movie of that era? I'm trying to think of a better animated movie in my opinion. The Herc stuff is good. Back when the world was new. By the way, those were black women. No one cared because it was a good movie. No one championed it. No one fucking was like, because back then the right didn't pretend to be such fucking, like, we didn't have as many fascists. We just had dummies, right? Some of them were fascists, don't get me wrong, but like now we got like Matt Walsh out here being like, hey, fascism's pretty okay. Emperor's New Groove. Atlantis: The Lost Empire is really good. Dude, Hercules is so good, though. Hercules is definitely better. I like Emperor's New Groove a lot. Hercules and Emperor's New Groove are definitely better than Atlantis, although Atlantis is good. Atlantis is a pretty movie, though. And isn't Rosie the mechanic in that? Big moment for me. Right? Rosie the mechanic. Right? Not Rosie the mechanic. Is that her name? Atlantis. And then they did it after. Is her name Rosie? No, Audrey. Anyway, Audrey. I forgot. It's Audrey, though. I haven't seen this movie in ages. But yeah, big for me. Big for me, dude. And then it was, yeah, bro. It's a vibe. A golden era of hotties. You guys also had, wasn't, what's his face? Oh, this one. The other girl in that, too, that he flirts with. This one. I don't know the movie very well. Good shit, though. Tom Holland in a live-action Atlantis remake? Man, I don't want any more live-action remakes, bro. If you could make it good, this movie would be really good. But I mean, like, honestly, it's just gonna probably be fucking.
I hope you have a cold.
If you did a live-action remake of this, they just give James Cameron the budget, and he'd just make fucking Pandora shit again, or whatever that movie is. Terrible. What was that movie? This is just coming out again. Avatar? Fuck that movie. Screw Bucket. Next 18 months. Avatar sucks, man. What a shitty movie. Arian really likes that movie. He calls it, the graphics are really good.